Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on a granny square. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make one of these, but we're going to be doing it beginner friendly with one single color, okay, just to get you guys started, and then maybe I'll do a part 2 on how to make it with multiple, which is fairly easy. But for today we're going to do something for the beginners, okay? This is just a simple tutorial, and I'm going to try to teach you how to start it with a magic circle, which is every crocheter's worst nightmare, but I'm going to make it very easy for you because once I got the hang of it, it was easy. I mean, it really is. So what you want to do is to start the magic circle is you're going to take this strand of yarn, you're going to pull it over your hand, leave about 4 inches of string, right? You're going to take this working yarn, which is attached to the ball. You're gonna take it, you're gonna pull it under like this. You're gonna wrap it around and make an X. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pinky and we're gonna kind of hold this like that. Not too tight though, okay? Not too tight. You take your 5mm crochet hook, okay? We're gonna go under right here, okay? You can even slide it over, it makes it easier actually. Yeah, do that. Slide it over. Okay, as you can see the X, we went over the top right corner of the X. Now we're gonna take the top left strand and pull it under like that. And you have a little hook going, right? So it should look like this. Try to do it in every angle so you guys can see. Okay, it should look like that. Now what we're going to do to close the circle and to make sure the circle goes nowhere is we're going to take this string here that we're holding on to. Oops, excuse me. We're not going to take that tail. We're going to take this string that our pinky is holding on to, and we're going to yarn over and pull it through that loop. And like I said, don't hold your string too tight because then you run into issues like this. Okay, and then we're gonna let it go. Now we can pull this, where is this loose string, okay? Now, as you can see, when I pull this string to the side, we have a magic circle. I'm gonna pull this underneath like that because it's kind of towards the front. Pull that to the back, okay? So now you can see you have a magic circle. Right? You have your circle. Now what we're going to do is chain 2 because that first chain that we did start with is going to count as one chain. So we're going to yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. Now that's technically chain 3. Okay? Now I'm going to show you that one more time. I'm not going to undo that one, so don't do what I'm doing, but I'm just going to show you again just in case you didn't understand. We started off with that first chain. Okay? We're going to kind of pull this. Okay? Now we're going to 1, 2. Okay? We're going to leave these stitches a little bit loose because we're going to have to come underneath this stitch right here at the top, this V. The chains make V's, and that's how you know you're at the top of the stitch, which is where you're going to work into most crochet projects. Okay, so we're going to come in and slip stitch into that one at the end of the round, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our first cluster. So the first chain 3, 1, 2, 3 starts as a double crochet stitch. So we're going to do 2 more into the circle, and then we're going to make our first corner to start our square. So we're going to yarn over, hold the circle like this if you need to, which probably do. Go into the circle, pull up a loop. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. So now we're going to kind of like hold this down a little bit. We're going to yarn over, and we're only going to pull through these first 2 loops. So we're going to 1, 2. and then we're going to go through, yarn over, 2 of the last loops. Now you have a double crochet stitch. Okay, and it's going to look a little funky because you're starting pretty much this circle right here is what you're starting and you're making. So that's what it's going to look like at the end when we're done, but for now it's going to be a little tricky. So as you can see, you have your 1, 2, because I said the first chain 3 counts as your first double crochet stitch, and you're going to need a cluster of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make our corner. So we need to do 1 more double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go through the loop, yarn under or pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops. And if you need to pull this chain a little bit tighter, you can. Just don't close it all the way because we're gonna still need 3 clusters of double crochets. So that's our first double crochet cluster of 3. Now we're gonna make a corner, which is yarn over, chain 1, that's a chain, yarn over, pull through the loop, that's a chain 2. Okay, we only need a chain 2 for our corner. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make another 3 double crochets for our second cluster, which we're going to need 4 to make a square. So you can keep this. I would start off doing the double crochets because as you go and as you work, this is going to get tugged and tugged and tugged, and you do not want this to come undone because that's what's holding the circle together. So we're going to start our next 3. Yarn under, yarn over. If it helps, hold this right here. 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? And you can kind of push this over if you need to. That's our first one. Yarn over, pull through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops, and that's your second double crochet. Pull together. You can bunch them together, like pull the stitches together if you need to, you know, so you can see. And as you can see, that started a little corner and it's starting to look like a little square. Okay, sorry if my hook was in the way. Yeah, you can see it's starting a little square, so I'm excited. Now we have our first 2 in the next chain, right? And we're in the next cluster, so we're going to do 1 more, yarn over, go through the loop, yarn or pick up a piece of yarn, pull it through. Now we got 3. I'm going to pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the first 2, right? So I'm going to start going a little bit faster. Okay, now we have our 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to make, after our third one, we're going to make another corner because like I said, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters of these 3 double crochets and a chain in between every one. I mean a corner in between every one of them. So after those 3 double crochets, chain 1, chain 2, that's going to be the second corner. So now pull this tighter, double crochet 3 more. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, slide over a little bit, double crochet, 2, double crochet. Oops. Like I said, don't pull, don't hold the yarn too tight on either end because it will get too tight and you will not be able to pass the hook through the yarn. So as you can see, I'm tightening this a little bit so you can see what we got going on. All right. It's starting to become a square. Now, next corner, what do? Chain 2. Now, double crochet 3 more. Because this is, I believe, our last step. 1, 2, yarn over, 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay, now It's not together, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that little piece of yarn that was straggling, that tail, and we're going to pull it. We're going to pull it tight like that. And don't flip your work yet. Don't turn your, make sure that you're keeping it to the side. You don't want to get into the habit of like turning your work around, because then sometimes it kind of messes up where you're working and what direction it's going. So make sure when you're pulling your yarn, you're pulling it from the side that you're working on, if that makes sense. Okay, so toss that to the side. Now what we're going to do to make this a square, we're gonna, what I do is I chain one just to give it a little extra, or sorry, no I don't. I yarn over. Okay, now this one is going to be 1, 2, 3. So you should have 1, 2, 3 stitches before your corner. So you're going to go into that very first V at the top that your very first chain 2, or excuse me, chain 3 technically. You're going to go into that top stitch. Okay, so you're going to go in right here on the top. You're going to push through that V. Push through that V, only those top 2 chains. Okay, and you should still have underneath, it's going to be kind of hard to see for you guys, but underneath that V there's going to be that little piece of yarn underneath that was from the chain. So now what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go through that loop. Okay, you should have 3. And now we're going to end it with a half double crochet stitch, which is kind of like the double crochet stitch that we've done, but we're going to just go through all 3 chains instead of just doing yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the last 2. We're just going to go straight through all of them. And what this does is it just gives it a little extra room and a little height to make sure it stays that shape. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a square. We have a square, guys. So for the next round, you're going to be able to see that we have made our square. All of our corners have an opening to stitch into. Okay, so we're on round 2 now. Yarn over, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and leave your chains a little loose when you're chaining, because you want to be able to get into that 3rd chain to slip stitch like we just did. Okay, now into this chain space that's underneath it, okay, we're gonna double crochet into that same chain, that corner, that first corner, go under, pull up a loop, right? You should have 3. We're gonna go under the first 2, and we're gonna go under the second 2, and that's 2 double crochets, because your first chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. As you can see at the top of that, there's going to be that stitch right there that we're going to slip stitch into at the end. So you see that 1, and then we have that 2. Let me pull this out so you guys can see. This chain on the hook doesn't count as a chain, okay? That's just your chain that you're working with, so, or you're currently using to make the next stitch. So as you can see, you have this first one, that first V, 1, 2, okay, that second one right here, and then we're about to make a 3rd one. Yarn over, go through the loop or at the corner, drag it up, go through the first 2 loops, and pull through the last 2 loops. All right, and as you can see, we're starting our next round, which is just gonna make our granny square get bigger eventually. Okay, so that's our first corner, okay, or our first cluster. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna chain 1, okay. Now we're gonna double crochet. Oh, sorry, we're not gonna chain 1. I keep forgetting that these you don't chain. So we're just gonna go into the next corner. We're gonna, with a 3 double crochet cluster, yarn over, double crochet 1, two double crochets, yarn over, double crochet number 3. Uh-oh, I have a little knot in my yarn. I hate when that happens. All right, and now we have 3. Actually, oh my gosh, guys, so I'm so sorry. Undo those last 3. So sorry, so sorry. It is a chain 1. It is a chain 1. I apologize. For the second round, it is a chain 1. My apologies, guys. Okay. Now we're gonna do 3 double crochets. I'm so sorry about that. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. All right, so yeah, back at our 3, right? And as you can see, I'm leaving a space for the next cluster to go into on the 3rd round. So now we're at our corner, right? We're gonna pay attention to this part. These big holes right here are corners. So that'll indicate when you need to create your next corner for the 2nd round. So just like we did for the first one, we're gonna chain 2 again to make another corner. And make sure you're only doing this when you have a big hole like that. Okay, like the big, you'll be able to tell if you pay attention, it's going to be a corner. So we're gonna that's going to be our first corner double crochet cluster there. Now we're going to do 3 more. 1, 2, move them over, 3. Look, guys. Okay. So now we're gonna chain 1 and we're going to double crochet 3 into the next corner, 2, oops, this is why I like to have my working yarn out. Oh, okay, the ball fell on the floor, but that's actually fine. I don't like when my ball is up on me like that. All right, so we're gonna do 1 more to create our first corner or a 2nd corner, okay? And as you can see, there's a big hole right there, so that's our corner. We're gonna go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2. Slide these over, and we're gonna work our next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Chain 1. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Go under. Pull up a loop. Pull through 2. Pull through 2. Push it over. Yarn over. Go in a loop. Pull up a loop. Yarn over. Go through 2. Go through 2. And that's we're going to another corner. So chain 2. 1, 2. 3 more double crochets into the same space. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Chain 1. And this is where it's going to be kind of hard to see, you guys, but you can tell as you get used to it. I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter so I can make this square a little bit more like noticeable. Okay. You'll be able to see when you're coming to your very first double crochet because it's going to look kind of bunchy. Like, as you can see, there's no way that this is level with this. So we're going to have to, of course, that's going to be our next corner, right? So this is our last cluster here. And I believe there's going to be an increase of clusters of 1 cluster each row. So each side is going to have an extra cluster. So they should all have the same amount. Okay. So we're going to go into this next cluster to form our last corner, and then we're going to slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're gonna need to slip stitch into this to make it a corner, right? So what did we do last time? I go yarn over, go into the top of this chain 3 where we started, which is right here, only into the top loops. So it can be a little difficult because you want to make sure that underneath these top little chains right here, there's going to be a little loop underneath it. So you don't want to go underneath that loop too. See that loop right there where my thumbnail is? You don't want to go underneath that too. So you just want to yarn over, pull through those top 2. You'll have 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3, so that gives it some height. Okay. And my granny square is a little bit crazy looking because I'm doing a tutorial and I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing versus how neat it is. But eventually you guys will get the hang of it. Okay, so that's the first 2. And as you can see, it's coming along. So if your granny square looks like this, good job. Okay. Now we're gonna chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And we're just gonna repeat that sequence. Okay, we're gonna 3 double crochets into this first corner. 1, 2, 2, and 3. Okay, got our chain 3, count as the first stitch, 2 and 3. Chain 1, go into this middle chain, chain 3, or excuse me, a double crochet 3, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going into the corner, our next corner. So we're going to be making another corner, which is, we're going to chain 1 to get over there, and then we're going to make 3 double crochet clusters first. 1, 2, 3. Pull those over. We're going to chain 2 to make the corner space, to give it that, you know, we haven't got to this corner space obviously, so that's how you know if that's the end of the row. Double crochet 3, 2, 3, and that's our next corner. So we just completed another corner. Now we're gonna chain 1, got a next space in the middle. We're gonna chain 1 and then put 3 double crochets into that next one, like we have been doing the whole square. And we're just gonna keep repeating this around until we get the size that we want, pretty much. And like I said, just pay attention to the corners, and as you can see right here, you would think that this would be a corner, but it's not a finished corner. As you can tell, these are completed corners, so then you'll know where you are in the project and where to create your last corner, which is obviously this, because it doesn't have a little boop boop. You would think this is, so be careful, but pay attention that is underneath a pair or a cluster of granny squares, so you can tell that that's not a corner. So we're gonna chain 1 again. Hold on, let me get some more yarn. I'm gonna finish off this round with you guys and then leave you guys to finish the sequence as long as you guys would like your granny, or as big as you guys would like your granny square. I have made some pillow covers with just these simple granny squares. I've made some granny square pants. There's so many things that you can do with these. So you can do your 3, 2, 3, 3. Okay, now we're gonna make a corner again because we're at the corner. 1, 2 chains, double crochet 1, double crochet 2, double crochet 3, okay, chain 1, double crochet 1 into the middle, double crochet 2 in the same space, double crochet 3 into the same space. So like I said, we're working into these, every cluster is going to a hole. Okay, it's not going into any of these top ones. Other projects will, but we're not gonna focus on that today. Chain 1, go into your next corner, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, pull these over, double crochet 3 into this corner space here, 1, 2, pull it over, and 3. Now you're almost done with the square. Chain 1, go into the middle, place 3 double crochets in the same space. Chain 1, and we're gonna make our last 3 clusters to complete this corner here. All right, we're gonna complete this corner. So 1, 2, and please don't think that you have to crochet as fast as me. I'm just pretty much a double crochet expert at this point, so I'm just flying through them. But if you need me to go slower, please feel free to slow the video down, okay, times a half or 3 if you need to, because at this point I'm just trying to show you guys how to finish the square, because the first couple minutes I explained how to do those double crochets. But if you still need you know, slow motion tutorial, that's nothing wrong with that, because as you can see, my very first granny square looks like this. This is the very first granny square I ever made, and it was like a year ago. So I'm going to show you guys the difference of consistency and practice. So this is not going to be your very first granny square, is only showing you how to make the foundation and how to, you know, do the double crochets, and it's really getting you prepare how to make, excuse me, oh gosh, the coffee is getting to me, just how to make corners and stuff like that, so you can learn how to shape your projects. So yeah, we're gonna do that last double crochet into that space, and to join these 2 together, yarn over, go into your top, we're gonna pull these up, okay, separate them so you can see your first chain here, your first chain 3. We're gonna go into that top one, okay, 1, 2, 3, go into that top V, the V only, not the little piece of strand underneath it, pull through that V, you have 3, pull through all 3, then you have your square. I'm going to show you guys what you can do is you can also chain 1 and pull this out and cut it if you need to, and I'll show you guys how to wind in your ends. So there you have it, you have a square. It's not blocked, which is like steamed, and you know, to let the fibers like rest and become more drapey. So if it looks a little stiff, depending on the type of yarn that you use, that could be why. So yeah, okay, so that's your first granny square. I hope that you guys have enjoyed that tutorial, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to weave in the ends. So let me grab my scissors. All right, so after I pulled out this little piece right here, I'm just gonna, okay, what I want to do is, so you want to secure that knot to make sure it doesn't come undone. What I usually do is I take this string and I kind of like pull it under the loop, and then I tie it closed like that, so it actually has like a little knot at the end, so it doesn't come undone. And it may kind of pull your squared together a little bit, but that's fine because when you block it, it's going to have more of a square shape. So what happens when you block it is you're going to hold the corners onto a board and steam it. You're going to kind of like hold it into shape like that. And then it's going to be more like square shape, you know. But to weave in the ends, let me get my darning needle. Let me get my darning needle for you guys. Ooh, I need to eat lunch. I had some raw veggies this morning for breakfast, and it's time for my lunch, okay? Where's my darning needle? Here it is. Okay, so you're gonna take a darning needle or a tapestry needle, something that has a hole like this, big enough for you to put your yarn through. Okay, what we're gonna do is, and you can do the same thing to this too, but I'm just gonna show you really quick. So what I typically like to do is go like this and pinch the ends like that, and then push the yarn through my needle like so. Okay, as long as you get it through there and leave a little bit out, you should be fine. So what I typically do is I'll go like into a loop like this, okay, and then I'll go into a loop like that, and then I'll kind of just like thread it through. And other people do theirs different ways. It's really totally up to you. What you're trying to do is pretty much just you're trying to hide the yarn, okay? You're just trying to hide the yarn and make sure that it doesn't come out. And you can even just like stop it there if you want to, but for me, I try to go through one direction, and then I go back, reverse it, and go back the opposite direction that I came. So I'm going to stick it through here, through here, through here, anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Okay, then like that. Then what you could do is you could just cut the yarn, as long as it's, you know, in there hidden, it's fine, trust me. Because if you're going to make it into a project, that doesn't matter. You just want it to be off. And then what you can really do from here is you can just cut that. Okay? You can cut that. Don't listen to me. Don't cut that. You really want to yarn that in, because if you let this go and it unravels, then your granny square comes apart, okay? So just for the sake of that, I want to show you guys that's what your granny square is going to look like, and why you shouldn't cut the end without tying it in or making some type of knot first, or maybe in putting like a little drop of super glue or something like that, or fabric glue, so it doesn't move around. Whatever is easier for you. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Stay tuned for the next one, because I will be doing multiple colors on a granny square. So instead of doing it like that, it'll be like this. Okay, and maybe we'll even do more rounds. All right, later you guys, and I hope that you have a beautiful day and happy crafting. Bye.